imagine that we can all concur that the vast majority of us need to be rich. We need to purchase extravagant vehicles and lavish houses and travel from one side of the planet to the other. We need more abundance than we know how to manage. However, in all actuality, not every person will get their desires allowed. So if you have any desire to figure out why your desire probably won't get conceded underneath are a portion of the justifications for why you won't most likely ever be rich. You burn through an excess of cash. You will not get rich by maintaining an unsustainable lifestyle. Such countless individuals are doing this and don't realize it's spending your whole check. And then some is definitely not a reasonable system for monetary achievement, nor is depleting your reserve funds or gathering together. MasterCard adjusts on the grounds that you're acquiring more or your manager gives you a raise. Doesn't mean you want to get a way of life raise also. Attempt to keep down your spending and track where all your cash goes, cut back in regions that are unnecessary. On the off chance that you can from there on think of a reasonable spending plan that permits you to have to the point of taking care of your bills and have to the point of placing into an investment account. On the off chance that you're spending more than you make, it turns out to be near difficult to save. So make a spending plan that is great for your pay range and the monetary circumstance that you're in. And furthermore, don't overspend on things that you can't bear the cost of except if you put them using a credit card. Take and apply these shrewd words from Buffett into your life. Try not to save what's left after spending, spend what's left subsequent to saving. 9. You're not contributing. Putting away cash is perhaps the best method for bringing in more cash. What's more, the sooner you start the better. So assuming you decide to neglect it, you're not getting rich. At any point in the near future, rich individuals contribute on normal 20% of their pay every year, and their abundance isn't estimated by the amount they make a year, however the way that they've saved. Contributed it over the long run, you could have a solid sense of security reserving your investment funds under the bedding, yet everyday expansion consumes your buying influence. Furthermore, this just implies that last year's $1 merits equivalent to the present $1. AKA you're losing cash. On the off chance that you might want to accomplish and keep up with some kind of monetary freedom, you will require the help of building revenue through a type of contributing. Toward the finish of every month, you ought to save some cash, even a little, to put resources into things like stocks and securities. The sooner you choose to contribute, the almost certain you are to benefit over the long haul. Not putting resources into yourself could likewise be a hindering obstruction on your way to wealth. On the off chance that you don't put resources into encouraging your schooling, preparing and improvement, you're restricting your capacity to get more cash flow from here on out. 8. You have an excessive amount of obligation. Creating financial stability can be extreme, particularly when an enormous piece of your cash goes towards obligation reimbursements. There are such countless justifications for why many individuals are underwater. They don't have any idea the amount they owe. They just compensation the base. Their home loan might be gigantic and they can't express no to the children. Furthermore, they don't have a secret stash. The financing cost on your MasterCard is probably higher than the normal venture return in the securities exchange. On the off chance that you can't take care of your MasterCard balance in full every month, then, at that point, you shouldn't have a charge card by any stretch of the imagination. Assuming you have a current MasterCard obligation, take more time to escape obligation and set aside cash. Give your very best for dispose of individual credits, understudy loans, vehicle advances, and home loans so you can reside obligation-free and have the option to keep and contribute what you make. 7. You haven't gotten ready for your retirement. It's so natural to zero in on the present, the bills you need to pay, everything you need to purchase. Also, this in some way fools you into imagining that you have no worries to begin putting something aside for retirement. In any case, the more you pause, the harder it becomes to accumulate sufficient cash to live off. Just 37% of working grown-ups feel like their retirement investment funds are on target. What's more, 1 out of each 5 Americans matured somewhere in the range of 45 and 59 are drawing nearer to the period of retirement, without anything put something aside for it by any means. However, it's never past the time to begin on putting something aside for retirement, regardless of how old you are or the amount you've saved up until this point. There's continuously something you can do to have sufficient cash to resign. Consider adding to your manager-supported 401k arrangement. Furthermore, assuming you're independently employed, ponder having a free retirement account. In the event that you're not augmenting your retirement helps every year, then, at that point, you are passing up your monetary future. Before we proceed, I might want to be aware, would you say you are getting any worth up until this point? Assuming that you are mercifully similar to this video, and assuming you're new, welcome, and feel free to click buy in. We should continue on. 6. You're happy with a consistent check. As per his review, near 8% of American specialists are living from one check to another. Becoming rich becomes unimaginable. If so, as far as you might be concerned, the best way to break out of this cycle is make a reasonable financial plan, diminish your spending and escape obligation. The vast majority decide to get compensated on a period premise, a consistent compensation or hourly rate, while the rich decide to get compensated in view of results, and are regularly independently employed. Furthermore, it isn't so much that these people aren't diligent individuals, yet for rich, this is a sluggish way to progress, which likewise is promoted as the most secure and is some way or another valid. However, the people who are independently employed realize that it isn't the quickest course to riches. 5. You don't arrange your compensation. Arranging your compensation can set you in a seriously awkward position, yet not getting compensated what you're worth keeps you further away from becoming rich. Arranging your compensation prior to tolerating a task has reliably been found to build the sum you acquire at that specific employment. Later on, a few specialists observed that men who arranged their underlying pay rates had the option to raise those pay rates by a normal of 7.4%. Additionally, ladies who reliably arrange their pay rates procure no less than 1 million more over their lifetime on normal than the individuals who don't. Complete an examination to decide the amount others in your space and position are procuring prior to tolerating a task or requesting a raise. The most terrible that can happen is that your manager says no. So arrange and receive the rewards later on. 4. You don't have a secret stash. A just-in-case account is fundamentally cash that has been saved to cover unforeseen future occasions. The cash permits you to carry on with a couple of months if you lose your employment or pay for something surprising without falling into obligation. Assuming you have a backup stash set up, you will not need to stray into the red to pay for these surprising costs. It's actually a lifeline in instances of crisis. Also, everybody ought to have one. It's encouraged to put something aside for no less than 3 to a half year worth of costs. Crises come when we least expect them. Your rooftop should be fixed. Your vehicle might stall, or you or your companion could lose your positions. The general purpose of a backup stash is to keep you from adding to obligation in the midst of hardship or frenzy, to accumulate assets without a second to spare, on the off chance that you don't have cash to return to. In such examples, you won't ever develop your abundance. You'll need to battle to pay a large number of obligations since you weren't productively ready. Beginning a crisis reserve fund store won't make you rich, yet it will assist with safeguarding you in a period of unforeseen scarcity. Ensure it's in its own records so it doesn't become blended with cash for your everyday costs. 3. You have a negative outlook towards cash, regardless of whether we're mindful of it. We have a well-established relationship with cash that directs our capacity to make and clutch riches. The normal individual accepts that being rich is an honor held for the fortunate few, yet the thing is, everybody has the privilege to be rich. Assuming they're willing to make gigantic incentive for other people, in the event that others can become rich, for what reason mightn't? In the event that you accept that you won't ever be rich, you will not. The way to succeeding monetarily is putting stock in yourself and what you're ready to do no matter what your monetary circumstance. You can continuously gather riches and partake in an agreeable life. At the point when we remove the feelings from cash, we can start to see it as what it truly is, a device. Perhaps you know a couple of rich individuals you could do without, and that has had a terrible impact on you. However, in any case, you should be monetarily secure. Also, that beginnings by fixing your relationship with cash. 2. You stress such a huge amount on saving and insufficient on procuring. Saving is a significant part of making abundance, yet you would have no desire to zero in such a huge amount on it that you start to disregard acquiring something that you want to focus on. Rich individuals center around how to get more cash flow instead of stress over running out of it. While the rich are caught up with zeroing in their energy on bringing in cash and heaps of it, the experts are more centered around cutting coupons and living efficiently to such an extent that they pass up open doors. And every one of those, some could say it. isn't about the sum you make, yet rather the sum you keep. It ought not be motivation to dismiss procuring totally. Also, all things considered, to keep cash, you want to make it first. This doesn't imply that the wealthy don't save. They know how significant saving is, yet they additionally realize it is more critical to acquire it. Nobody's platitude you should deserted down to earth reserve funds procedures. In any case, if you need to begin thinking like the rich, you really want to quit stressing over reaching a financial dead end and begin zeroing in on the best way to make a greater amount of it. 1. You're chasing after another person's fantasy to find lasting success. You really want to cherish what you do. A considerable lot of us wrongly pursue another person's fantasy. Whenever you decide to pursue another person's objectives, you in the long run become despondent, and your exhibition and pay will mirror this. You basically come up short on energy vital for progress to occur. Everybody has a similar chance to gain abundance. It is actually the case that some could confront more prominent barricades than others. However, the open door is there for everybody to snatch. You don't need to be brought into the world in a rich family or hit the big time to become well off and live serenely. Yet you must be focused and comprehend the stuff to excel monetarily and stay away from the traps that are keeping you down. Indeed, thank you folks such a huge amount for observing the present video. I truly want to believe that you delighted in and tracked down esteem while watching it. Assuming that you felt free to offer it a go ahead. Furthermore, assuming you're new here, welcome and buy in for more satisfied this way, all things considered. Have a decent day, and I'll see you all in the following. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumb up and share with your friend. Thank you for watching.